Have you ever really stopped to think about the word family?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it feels universal,
Right,
right?
absolutely.
But the meaning, it seems to sort of shift and change depending on, well, who you ask, where you are,
Yeah.
maybe even when you are.
That's a key point, the when.
So today, we're doing a deep dive into what family really means in English. We'll look at how the definition itself has evolved, who counts as family, and some, surprising ways people talk about relatives in different English-speaking places.
Mm-hmm.
And we've pulled together quite a mix of sources for this. We've got historical linguistics, academic studies, practical language guides, and even real chats from online forums in the U.S. and U.K. So quite a range.
Yeah, it's a good mix. And our aim really is to give you a clear, sort of insightful look at these family terms and ideas. We want to highlight those cultural differences, in how families are put together and how people talk to each other within them. And hopefully equip you with a bit more confidence to talk about family, your own or others, accurately and with that cultural awareness, because it's definitely more complex than just memorizing words.
Definitely. Okay, so let's kick things off with the big one.
Mm-hmm.
The word family itself. What does it actually mean? Has it always meant the same thing? Because I instinctively think, mother, father, kids.
All right, that's the common modern idea. But history, well, throws us a curveball here. The word family actually came into English around the 15th century. It's from the Latin famulus, meaning servant.
Servant, really?
Yeah, so its very first meaning in English was closer to what we'd maybe call a household now, a group living together under one roof. And crucially, this wasn't just blood relatives. It included servants, too.
Wait, so family could actually mean just the servants living in a house?
It could, yes. That's quite a shift from today, isn't it?
That's amazing. It paints a totally different picture of the original concept.
Exactly. There's an old phrase, to take someone into one's family, which used to mean hiring them as a servant. And if you look at, say, the 1611 King James Bible, family often meant something bigger, more like a tribe or clan. When they talked about parents and children specifically, they tended to use other terms like near kin.
Near kin, okay.
So the shift towards our modern idea of family, parents and children primarily, that happened slowly, really from the 17th century through to the early 19th. And it seems to be linked to big social changes like the rise of the middle class and this growing separation between home life and work life.
Wow. It really shows that family isn't some fixed thing. It's like alive, constantly adapting to how society changes. That historical bit alone is pretty mind-blowing.
It really is language reflecting life.
So bringing that forward, how does that history play out today? How do people in Britain and the U.S., say, typically define family now?
Well, in general conversation, the most common meaning is still the nuclear family, mother, father, children living together. But even that picture has changed a lot. Go back 50 years, and typical often meant a working dad and a stay-at-home mom.
Right, the classic image.
Yeah, but society keeps evolving, doesn't it? People often marry later now or live together without getting married. Family sizes are generally smaller, too, fewer children on average. And divorce rates, well, they're a big factor. About half of U.S. marriages end in divorce, apparently.
Half? Wow.
And UK rates have doubled since the 80s. So all this leads to a real variety of family structures we see all the time now. Single-parent families, step-families.
5 brothers and sisters.
Exactly. And families with adopted kids or fostered children. It's much more diverse.
And it's not just the structure, is it? It's the roles inside the family, too.
That's right. Many mothers work outside the home now, so you have childminders, daycare centers being common. And fathers, well, they're generally more involved in childcare than maybe past generations were, although often the primary responsibility still tends to fall on mothers.
Okay. And what about the extended family? Grandparents, aunts, uncles?
There are some interesting differences there, too, culturally speaking. In the U.S., it's pretty common for extended family to live quite far apart. People move for jobs, for lifestyle. So contact is often kept up through phone calls, visits, maybe those big family reunions you hear about.
Yes, the reunion.
In the UK, family might live close by or they might be scattered too. But there's often this strong sense of family loyalty, a kind of unspoken duty to look out for each other.
That's interesting.
And one thing that's quite common to both cultures and maybe different from others is that older people don't typically live with their adult children. They usually live in their own homes or perhaps in nursing homes if they need more care. It reflects values around independence, I suppose.
That's a really key point. It shows how deep these cultural values run, shaping something as fundamental as family living arrangements. So, okay, we have all these different structures, these evolving roles. How does the language actually keep up? What are the essential words we need to, talk about all this?
Right, let's break down the vocabulary. It helps to think in categories. First, you've got your immediate family. That's your father, dad, mother, or mom. Together, they're your parents. Then son, daughter, child or children, and husband, wife. Oh, and sibling, that's a useful word for a brother or sister.
Sibling, right, covers both.
Then, moving outwards, the extended family. You've got brother, sister, uncle, aunt, cousin. Your nephew, that's your brother's or sister's son.
Got it.
And niece is their daughter. Then grandfather, grandmother, or just grandparents. And grandson, granddaughter.
Okay, standard enough so far.
Then you can get into generational terms. You can say great-grandfather, great-grandmother. Looking back further, you have ancestors. And looking forward, descendants. And when family comes through marriage, we use the in-law suffix. Father-in-law, mother-in-law, brother-in-law, sister-in-law, and so on. Son-in-law, daughter-in-law.
The in-laws, yes. A whole category.
And for today's blended and more modern families, the vocabulary reflects that. So stepfather, stepmother, stepbrother, stepsister. Also half-brother or half-sister, that's when you share one parent. You might also hear terms like biological mother or biological father, maybe contrasted with adoptive mother or adoptive father, and foster parent, co-parent for parents raising children together after separating, and terms like partner or fiancé for men, fiancé for women, those engaged to be married.
That's quite a list.
Just a couple more general ones.
Right.
Relative is a broad term for anyone in your family. Next of kin is important legally. It's your closest living relative. And family tree for mapping ancestry, and household for people living together, which loops back to that original meaning of family almost.
That's a great overview. But okay, beyond those sort of official terms, how do people really talk about their family day to day? Informally, and maybe crucially, what are some common mistakes our sources mention that we should try to avoid?
Good question. Yeah, informal language is everywhere. You hear sis for sister, bro for brother all the time. Grandparents often become gramps or grandma, maybe nan, pop. Parents might be called folks.
Folks, yeah, I use that.
And sometimes you hear slang like old man or old lady for a parent or even a spouse. It's often joking, though, depends heavily on tone and who's saying it.
Right, context is everything with those.
And for cousin, there are lots of abbreviations or slang. Cuz, 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 cuz. Interestingly, in New Zealand, cuzzy can apparently mean just any acquaintance. And cuz can sometimes be used like a term of endearment for close friends, not just family. Shows how language shifts,
It really does. So what about those common errors you found? Why are they important to get right?
Well, they can cause confusion or just sound a bit unnatural to native speakers. For example, saying cousin brother. In English, you just say cousin. It covers male and female.
Ah, okay. No need to specify the gender like in some languages.
Exactly. Another one is he's a family man. If you mean he has a family, the better way to say it is he is a man with a family, or he has a family.
Yeah.
Because family man has its own specific meaning, too, like a man who really enjoys spending time at home with his wife and kids.
Right, different connotations.
Also, be careful with things like, he married his daughter. That sounds wrong.
Yeah, definitely wrong.
You'd say, he got his daughter married, meaning he arranged her wedding or she got married. Other small things. Instead of all his family members, it's more natural to say all members of his family. And grammar things like mommy and myself helped you, it should be mommy and I helped you.
The classic I versus me or myself.
Yep. And finally, comparing ages, say older than me, not older to me. Small things, but they smooth out your English.
Those are really practical tips. Okay, this next area seems like a big one based on our sources. Navigating how to talk to new family members, specifically in-laws. People seem to have a lot to say about this.
Oh, absolutely. It's a classic area for potential awkwardness, isn't it? And it tells you a lot about cultural expectations around family. Generally speaking, in both the UK and the US, the most common thing now is to call your in-laws by their first names.
Okay, first names. Seems simple enough.
But it's not always that straightforward. There are lots of nuances. For instance, some people, maybe from different cultural backgrounds, like some Asian cultures, or even some older folks within the US or UK, might actually prefer or be used to being called mom or dad or something similar. You might hear mommy and daddy, or mama plus a first name in the UK sometimes, or mom and dad in the US, sometimes even terms like mummy G or papa G, showing respect. And the in-laws might really appreciate that. Feel it brings everyone closer.
Right, so for some, it's a sign of respect and closeness.
Yes. But then, on the flip side, lots of British and American people feel it's just weird, or even disrespectful to their own parents to call someone else mom or dad.
Yeah, I can see that. I've definitely heard people say they just end up not using any name at all, just sort of talking at them to avoid the issue.
Haha, yes. The name avoidance strategy. It's very common. People confess to it all the time in those online discussions we looked at.
So why is this specific thing so tricky? What does it tell us?
I think it shows that expressing these new family ties through language is really deeply cultural. It's not just about being polite. It's this subtle negotiation, isn't it, between showing respect, feeling comfortable, generational expectations, cultural backgrounds. It's all mixed in there. Using Mr. and Mrs. last name feels very formal now, quite rare, though maybe still happens with some older relatives, particularly in the southern U.S., apparently.
Okay.
But the thing that often seems to solve the problem, or at least provide a natural way forward, is grandchildren.
Ah, the grandparent factor.
Exactly. Once kids arrive, the in-laws often get called by their grandparent names, grandma, grandpa, pops, nana, meme, whatever it might be, and everyone seems to find that much easier. It bypasses that initial mom, dad, or first name awkwardness.
That makes a lot of sense. Phew, what a journey through the world of family in English. We've gone from servants in the 15th century
Right back to this.
to modern stepfamilies, all the vocabulary, those little language mistakes to avoid, and even how to talk to your mother-in-law without putting your foot in it.
Hopefully without putting your foot in it.
Before this, I thought, I understood family. But seeing how it's changed and all these modern shapes it takes,
Yeah.
it feels like looking at something familiar in a totally new light.
And if you think about the bigger picture, it really underlines that family isn't just biology, is it? It's about how society changes, how we use language to define relationships, how we navigate those cultural niceties. This whole deep dive, I think, really shows language as a mirror to our lives, often in ways we don't even realize.
That's a great way to put it. So, a final thought for you listening. After hearing all this, what part of your own family story, or maybe how you talk about your family, feels most modern now? Or perhaps surprisingly traditional? Something to think about. Join us next time for another deep dive.